Lauren's house. We're putting together the side garden. Right here we've got an empty spot. We're gonna put a 5-foot bed, about 2 feet deep, and we're gonna plant it with lots of herbs and veggies. And what's really exciting is we're going to be using these birdies beds. And I'll talk more and more about them later, but they're completely modular and you can put them together in whichever orientation that you want. And then over here, she's already got a little berry patch right here and put passion fruit in. So the passion fruit's gonna grow and hide that chain link fence. But then over here, this is where more action is gonna happen today. She's got her sub pod in already, but we're gonna put another birdie's bed right here. More soil amendments, plants, you name it. And we'll put up a little trellis for peas to grow. Here is Lauren's little front yard garden. If you remember, last summer she had a salsa garden. It was full of tomatoes, I think 3 or 4 different kinds, and I helped her kind of design and figure out how to irrigate, and she had her team come and do that. So we have all this cilantro, this green stuff right here that you see. This is all self-seeded from the cilantro this past summer, and because we are in a coastal environment, this is the perfect temperature. And so she's gonna have a little cilantro forest and she can still have salsa all winter long. And then back here, the plan, you can already see it. There's some broccoli and we're gonna do some cauliflower as well. And then we have some more starts right there. It's like broccoli, and then even here, this is really cool. Red Brussels sprouts. Let's see right there. And little tip for you, if the leaves are kind of purpley, sometimes that means it's going to be a red variety of vegetable. So this is the red Brussels sprout, and so that's why the leaves are already kind of colored versus other ones are going to just be green. So we have broccoli, cabbage, and cauliflower in here. So during the summer we thought, how else can we squeeze more into this small space? I think this space is probably like a 10 by 10, and we put, you can see these rain gutters right here. And right now the strawberries look a little sad because it's winter, but they're actually still producing right here. So it's still warm enough. She has like a pink flower variety right here too. But little strawberries are forming. And then she's got sweet pea flowers down below. And these are, the idea is that they're gonna train all the way up the side and flower, and she'll have lots of flowers to put in vases and shoot with. And then back here, her family loves peas of all sorts. So she's got these little marble peas. They're already established. So she's gonna plant them along this trellis, and it's gonna climb up and she'll have a ton of peas all season long. It's probably gonna be like a little pea wall all along this thing. Here is the triangle trellis, and basically it's just 6-foot bamboo sticks that we've used twine to pull together. You want the lower stick to be a little bit closer so that you can see even this plant that hasn't been planted was already wrapped around. I just unlodged it. But yeah, so you want it a little bit lower. Then you can have a bit more space at the other 2 levels. I think this is probably about 1 foot. This is about 1.5 feet, another 1.5 feet. And then at the top, you cross the beams so it could support a cross beam. In the corner, you use kind of like a tripod situation here to keep the stick up. And then you can see it's pretty darn stable with like a really good shake. We use these for the summer for all of her tomatoes. They grew up and then over. They were really stable. They held a ton of fruit, a ton of pounds of fruit. And then during winter, they're gonna be here for the peas. So we have the Birdie's original raised beds, the tall version in this mint green color. Lauren wanted the mint. It does come in kind of like a slate gray and a beige. So we are unboxing, and I love that it comes in a modular setup. So these are all the panels. I'm only 5'4", and so it's manageable. I don't need, you know, muscle and brawn to be able to put this together. So I think that's a really great selling point for a very independent gardener. And then here is the tubing for the top. And then we have the assemble pieces and easy instructions right here. But yeah, so we are going to be putting together 6x2 over here and a 5.5 by 2 on that side. Alright, so the bed is assembled, and before we fill it, I'll just tell you why I love it. It is this really tall, 30 inches, and you know, I'm only 5'4". This is like hip height. This is perfect. It is a lot of soil that you're gonna have to fill. However, when you are harvesting your lettuce and all those things, it's at the right height that you can just pick and not have to lean over too much. If it were, let's say, lower, you're gonna strain your back quite a bit. This is the 5.5 foot by 2 feet option, and when you're placing your bed, you want it to be a couple inches from the back wall. You want to kind of center it in the space that you have, but also if you have any structures, you want to make sure that you do not block them. Next step is we'll put this tubing on, and then we'll fill up the bed. This would be much easier with a butter knife. There we go. I will have to add that to my toolkit, a butter knife. So this one needs 27, right here, 27 cubic feet of soil. Or if you don't want to fill it all with soil, because that can get really pricey, if you have pieces of wood that you've cut, as long as it's not diseased, you can drop it right in. And other things that you can fill, you can use, I don't fall over, cardboard boxes. They can also be used to fill, just like that. It's not dumping trash. It's actually a growing method called Hugel Couture. I probably butchered it. There's a word for you right there. You can try it on your own. But basically it's taking plant debris and building up the soil. Now, having a raised bed, it will take years to break down that big log down here, but it does take up some space, and it will break down and add to the soil as we go. We will use commercial soil. We will also be using some perlite, so there's aeration and it keeps the soil lifted. So next step, we're going with perlite. This is actually grade 4, so it is a much larger perlite. It's big chunks. I like using this because it has a lot more aeration. You can even see it. It's actually very light. Crush it. But we're going to be putting that inside with some raised bed mix and mixing it all together. Putting another layer of organic raised bed mix. You can probably find this at your local hardware store. This is already mixed in. So we'll just lasagna layer this over and over until we get to the top. Then I have some premium soil, and then we get to planting. So this is why I call it premium soil. You can see how loose and light it is versus this. It's more dense, and you can actually see chunks of bark in this other one. Premium soil at the top, it's easier for the new seedlings to break into. It's kind of like with newborns, you want to use organic cotton or something in their clothing. All right, so here are 2 wooden trellises. Again, you can find these at your local nursery. You can just, because the soil is so soft, I'm gonna have to work on spacing a little bit. Okay, so we are planting these blue potted peas. I basically just tuck them in, you can see right there, and then give it a brush. This garlic is actually already sprouting. I'm just going to tuck it in like so. And cover it up. The planted a lot of herbs in this particular bed. There is garlic hidden in here. There is over there blue potted peas along the trellis. There are also carrots, and you have edible flowers around and peas, coconut thyme, oregano, Mexican oregano, dill, you name it, it's in here. Hi. So this is Malibu compost. It is one of the must-haves in every garden that I put together, even my own, because it is such a high quality product in terms of compost. It's like the magic secret sauce. So I let the cat out of the bag. Now you know this is the stuff. So what I also like about them is they use the manure from rescued dairy cows. So it's giving them a second life. Really rich, can't even tell. There's no smell, but this is biodynamic compost and the plants love it. Now we're just mixing it really well, so as the roots go into the soil, they'll have plenty of food over the season. All right, so I'm gonna start with the red cabbage and just squish the bottom to pop it out. And then you have all the roots intact. You carefully hold on to it, poke a hole, drop this guy in, and then cover it up. It already has mycorrhizae in the mix, so I don't need to add anything. Some biofish. It's a really good organic amendment. Also to feed the plants. Lots of nitrogen because these plants need a lot of nitrogen. The instructions are on the bag, but I usually just give it a sprinkle and work it in as I go. All right, so here I have some really pretty edible flowers. These are violas, and I'm going to just plop them into the raised bed. Now I do this for a couple reasons. One, I just think they're really pretty, and who doesn't like pretty? But also the beneficial bugs really like to come and visit. Lauren has actually propagated her own African blue basil. So it's not too happy right now just because it's winter, but this is what basil should look like. And you can see a lot of healthy roots. She's just propagated it in water. What I'm gonna do is actually snip off the flowers to help it conserve energy. I'm gonna plant it on the end right here, just like so. Be really careful with the roots. And by spraying, this will be a really beautiful bush. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, please remember to like and subscribe down below and join me, Chai Ming, and my business, Coastal Homestead, as we design and install edible gardens across Southern California. I'll see you next time.